Welcome to another episode of Youth Perspective with yours sincerely, Joy Okmani. Today's topic is going to be a very fun and interesting one that every youth and everyone out there should actually pay attention to, and it is emotional trauma. You're probably wondering, what's the concern emotions? But trust me, you all have to listen today because this actually happened in our generation, every time, every day, everywhere. And we all have to pay attention to it because today we're going to discuss what is emotional trauma, signs, symptoms, and how we can actually get by them. So you have to stay tuned because trust me, you do not want to miss out. Okay, beautiful people, it is time to hear from our guest who is with us in the studio. And trust me, as usual here, I have 5 people around always coming in for the program. And today I have Osarime, right?
Yes.
Of course. And yes, she's a very, very fine girl. So, Sha, just... How are you?
I'm fine.
You good?
Yes.
Okay. So like we've mentioned earlier, today we are talking about emotional trauma. And what is going to be, we're just going to talk round about everything and anything that concerns this issue because it is not really talked about in the society today because youth actually do go through these issues and we are here to discuss them, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how would you define emotional trauma?
Okay, emotional trauma. First, from the word emotional, we can get emotion. Okay. And emotion refers to feeling that someone exhibits. And also, it's also a psychological response of a person to an object or situation.
Okay.
Now, emotional trauma, it refers to the emotional response of a person to a terrible situation. Okay. Terrible, like violence, car accident, bullying, and a lot of things.
A lot of things can cause trauma, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's usually overlooked. Trauma is usually overlooked in the society, and I don't understand why. Maybe because they feel we are too babied in this generation. I don't know. But regardless, can you give me an instance whereby you can actually say that it can actually occur from our everyday lives?
Okay, emotional trauma. First of all, there are types of emotional trauma. The first is the acute trauma, and this refers to an overwhelming situation, just a single overwhelming situation, like someone who is involved in a car accident. Someone will just come out from his house that morning, not even wishing that kind of incident will happen, but you just meet it. It's not something that you actually wish that will happen. So same thing as also business loss. Or let's say when a student fails in examination.
True, that's
most
very
especially why examination. And these students have read and all that, just for the results to come out, where they say D a particular course, and that course is very important. That one is really, that one refers to the acute trauma. Then we have the chronic trauma. This one refers to actually a single event or situation, but it's still ongoing for a prolonged period of time.
Like throughout your lifetime, you just
not just let's say someone now, for example, who has a life-threatening illness like cancer. No one ever wished to just be born on earth, then just to say, your child has cancer. No, like all this kind of illness that will just come all of a sudden. That particular period of time that the person will be battling with it, facing a lot of challenges, trying to recover and all that. That period, because it's a prolonged period, then when the person gets recovery, that's what refers to a chronic trauma. Then the last one is the complex trauma. This refers to a continuous event or ongoing situation that just it's like something like everlasting, like
a permanent mark.
Yes, ongoing, continuously and not stopping. And this one, an example is like in terms of child abuse. Like let's say a little baby now, the way the mother maltreats the child and all that. And for that particular time, as the child is growing, because life is in stages, the person will still be under that particular mother.
For a long time.
For a long time. Even the thing who follow the child, you see that even when the child is an adult, we're so scared to socialize with people around. So that one refers to the complex
trauma.
So you can see that every day, in fact, our day-to-day activities
can also be a part of it.
Yes, can actually be a part of it, because there's sometimes when you just go to a particular place, you just say, hello, just be somebody like this, so you just greet the person, then person is insulting you, you just be asking, I'm just greeting, no, that kind of thing.
Knowing that these words have strong hold on the person.
Yes, and
like you say, words can break your, I think, is that what they said? Yes, sticks and stone, okay, that's not it, forget it. And I was going to say sticks and stone may break my bones, but your words will hurt me. But other words have power, and they can actually hurt people more than actions. Yes, that's what I was going to say. So like this now, you've told us the types of trauma. Yes, we have the acute trauma, we have the chronic trauma, and we have the complex. Nice, we're all learning. I hope you guys are learning too. So you've mentioned that yes, it can actually happen throughout day-to-day activities, like things as small as even examinations.
Yes.
You know, it can actually bring down somebody's morale, somebody's expectations and all that. But it's best not to let it hold you down, because the more you let it hold you down, in life it's going to continue like that. Any small failure you encounter, you just tend to go back into your shell, and that's very, very sad. Do you know any symptoms of trauma? Like if you see a person having these symptoms, person is actually displaying the symptoms, would you be able to tell?
Yes.
What kind of symptoms would they be?
In terms of emotion and also physical.
Okay.
In terms of emotion, the person will feel this anger, this hate, fear. Person will, yes, aggressive. Then the person will have this kind of syndrome this kind of imposter syndrome, that the person does not know his worth, lack of confidence, low self-esteem. Then the person can also be easily irritated. That's also aggressive.
Any small way you do, if you just vex someone.
Yes, you just explode once.
True. And the person can even fall into depression because of certain situations. Do you think relationships have a hand in the whole trauma thing? Because some people have met somebody actually who, through relationship and all that, it was very, very serious and toxic something. But thank God for her, she got out. And after that, everybody expected her to bounce back, like, you know, still be you and, you know, fix your normal, your frontal, you know, dress up and still go out and everything else. But no, she crawled up into a shell, like she's done this herself as she used to be, like a different her entirely. So I was like, are you sure that this relationship is making her like this? Until I realized that, yes, she's actually probably going through this. I've already answered the question I was going to ask you, Steph. Can you imagine? But still answer the question, Sha. I will not let you go with that one.
Okay, in terms of relationship, there are some toxic relationships.
Like I've mentioned.
Yes, yes, that's abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. And also, there's some, like I said, it's something that you can't predict. And you can't predict. And also, one thing we should note is that everybody is different. So, and everybody doesn't react to one particular thing the same way. So, there's some girls that are in relationship. Let's say they are so dependent on this guy. They love this guy. Come on, let us go to go. Let's go here, they will go. That kind of thing. But when the guy just say, please, I'm not interested again, let's break up. Some girls can't take it to be crying. They cannot recover and all that. And there's some people, some girls that, okay, there's another category of people that when they're faced with that, let's say if they were aware of what they call red flag. Red flag. They can be able to, I say, if this guy can just do like this to me,
definitely it can hurt me.
Yes, then they'll just back out. By themselves, they'll just pack their loads and go.
It's best that you see those kind of things and run before you enter this kind of situations. That's quite interesting, because like you've mentioned, people can actually be in this kind of relationships and not even know it. You know, sometimes it's very, very hard to get out of it. So after getting out of it now, like I mentioned earlier, sorry, I hope my friend is not seeing this shout, but yes, they can actually just be a different kind of person entirely. They don't handle it well, I know that. But then how can they now heal from all this? Because like we've mentioned earlier, people can be traumatized through school, through normal just going out and something you never expect comes your way. You know, true, it could be a sickness and all that. It could be just your everyday life and something happens and it just gives you that, just traumatizes you, for example. Yes. So how do we now heal from this? How do we grow from it? Do you think we can anybody can heal from it?
Yes.
How?
Yes. First thing first, depending on the kind of trauma the person is facing, because there are different types.
Like you mentioned, true.
Firstly, the person needs to recognize that he or she have passed through this particular trauma. Then, two, the person should be willing to manage these our emotions. We need to manage these our emotions in order to conceal all those things.
Okay.
Then also, three, the person needs to ensure that he takes therapy. Therapy first.
Yeah, it's also important to actually meet a therapist, because in this side of the country, they don't really see it as a thing. They see like, okay, now only people we know well upstairs, 9 day go therapist. But meanwhile, it's for everybody and anybody. You don't have to be depressed first before you need to see a therapist. You can actually be going through something and you want to talk to somebody. Maybe your family is not really there. And I think families are not a big role.
Yes.
That they can actually help you out through situations that you may actually be going through. That is, if you open up to them. And it's important to have a good relationship with your family, because once a relationship is there, you can easily communicate to them and tell them this is what you're going through, than just hiding in your shell all alone. And it's important that we have our family as our back, because I think once family is there and they can help you through it all, it becomes easier to get through it all. And also seeing somebody who can talk you through it, who can actually listen to your worries and troubles, whatever you may be going through. As fun as this has been, it's very sad that our time is up. Yeah. So what's going to be your last advice to everybody who is probably going through one thing or the other in their life, that something's traumatizing them somewhere, somehow? What's going to be your advice to them?
Okay, anyone who is undergoing this kind of trauma, please, first and first, believe in yourself. So you have to have compassion for yourself, and also you have to also forgive the person involved in it. Then try and engage in activities that will make you happy, like your hobbies that you enjoy. Then also involve yourself in like thinking positively. That's when self-affirmation comes in. You should be telling yourself every time to encourage yourself. With that, and also meeting medical professionals and all that, you're able to recover.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. It was lovely. And I do hope you actually enjoyed today's section, because trust me, I've learned to, so that types of trauma, like we've heard, we have the acute, we have the chronic, and we have the complex. Yes. So now we know this. So see you guys much later. Bye.
Hey, Psych2Goers. Whoever said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, forgot about emotional wounds. Ever stop to wonder why that forgotten birthday still hurts, even though it happened many years ago, or why you still stay awake at night wondering why someone backstabbed you in high school? Those are emotional wounds that have not healed. Unlike physical wounds, they aren't visible, and we don't have a surefire, simple band-aid for it. The good news is that healing these wounds takes a few different tactics that we may not have thought about before. So let's go through how to recognize that you need that emotional first aid kit and how to use it. Number 1, being alive, but not living. Sure, being alive can be clinically spelled out in cool terms. Your heart is beating, you're able to remember your name, you can perform work functions, you eat food, and you sleep at night. But living is different. It's when you follow a passion, do fun things, and do anything outside the bare necessities. Maybe you've lost a loved one, and since then you felt undeserving of happiness. So you cut yourself off from all these things. And before you know it, you start living in survival mode. You're alive, but not really. Step back, look at the situation. Understand that you have a right to grieve, to be angry, to be hurt. Connecting with others can help you understand that living your life is not causing these things to happen. You may, in fact, find that not living your life is in fact hurting those around you who are still there for you and care about you. Number 2, being disproportionately angry or sad or emotional or Emotional wounds are wounds. When wounds are still tender and raw, a breath of fresh air can feel like fire. You know yourself. You know what normally gets to you. And when you start getting angry at things where 2 seconds later you think, what was that all about? Why did I yell at them? That's a sign of a possible wound that needs attending. You might not even be getting something directed at you. You could be looking at random paint colors and suddenly you're sobbing. You're not losing your mind. It's your emotions trying to communicate to you, saying, hey, you have some processing to do so we can get to healing. It likely means that there's something that hasn't been fully acknowledged and dealt with. It may be perceived as embarrassing, or you thought you were done with it. But if you're still emotionally everywhere, perhaps it's time to take a second look and acknowledge these emotions. Number 3, you can't stop replaying the situation over and over. Admitting the situation and talking about it is good. You have to admit that it's there for it to be healed. But if you keep talking about it without direction or purpose and on repeat, it's gone from helpful to harmful. So, when talking about the situation or assessing it, always ask yourself, what am I getting out of talking about it? Is there something I still don't understand that will help me move to the next step? And ask yourself honestly if you're repeating things because you're denying what you already know but hoping to get a different answer. This is not closing a wound, it's reopening it and undoing all the hard work you've done before. Number 4, self-growth stunted by fear. Part of living or experiencing life is continuing to grow. Learn and reach out.
And that is all on today's episode of Youth Perspective. We explored everything and there is to know about emotional trauma, how we can get by them, how to handle them, and how to overcome and conquer everything else. Yes? So, until next episode of Youth Perspective, I remain yours sincerely, Joy Okmani. Remember, your perspective is valuable and your voice matters. Good evening.